It's a little bit old, but if you take the spatial distribution of, um, of sulfur dioxide emissions in the United States, you will see this. This is a little bit old, but I like this because it really shows the difference. But you will see more emissions in the East Coast, where we have more coal and more power plants, as compared to um, West Coast, where we have, we use oil and cleaner coal and less population, et cetera, et cetera. So there is now sulfur dioxide is mostly released by coal power plants and steel industry, metallurgical industry. Whereas the nitrogen oxides, they are emitted both by power plants and cars. So this is the reason we have a more even distribution. And actually, if you go to California, you can see they drive a lot and they have a lot of emissions. The same thing with Texas. So there is a difference in the distribution, the spatial distribution of these SO2 and nitrogen oxides. Something else I don't want to forget, so I will tell this now, is that, okay, most of the acids are produced here, and also the prevailing winds in the United States, they go in this latitude, they go from west to the east. So not only the emissions are here, but the prevailing winds bring the pollutants to the New England and Northeast. So one of the problems we had with the acid rain is that the states in the Northeast and Southeast Canada were mostly affected by the acid rain. So like Mount Washington, trees and other things, the Northeast and especially the New England is really affected by the acid rain. So that's something to keep, okay, in mind. And this is what I just said, that much of the sulfur dioxide is emitted by electric utilities and some from industrial manufacturing, a little bit from transportation, mostly diesel. And actually nowadays, the diesel is desulfurized and it's ultra pure diesel, which really doesn't have much sulfur. Sulfur emissions across the globe. You see the emissions, as I mentioned, in the United States. Central Europe uses a lot of coal, and the Eurasia also, and India, and China. So these are the areas, okay? Now, the emissions from India will, of course, affect China, and the emissions from China, they will affect Korea and Japan, and of course, it will go this way. Whereas the emissions from Midwest will affect New England and Canada, and the emissions from the Central Europe, around here, the winds actually are a little bit more circular, and this is the reason the Scandinavian countries, they recognized the problems, the acid rain problems, much earlier than other parts of the world. I just told you this, that about the source of the oxides, and this is another map that to compare with that I showed you earlier. As I said, nitrogen oxides, they're emitted both by electric utilities and highway and transportation. So sulfur dioxide is most power plants, and nitrogen oxides is both power plants and transportation. And here is China. This is a little bit old. It's China and India, but I don't think things have really changed much. And so you see, there is also a part of Mongolia and Kazakhstan, and that really burn a lot of coal and very bad quality of coal. And also they have a lot of metallurgical industry there. They produce many expensive metals. They have very good ores there. So there is also a part here which is very, very polluted. And again, this is sulfur dioxide, this is nitrogen oxides, this is ammonia. Ammonia is not something that is emitted by the plants or the cars, some from the cars, but ammonia really comes from farming, from agriculture, for animal farming, and for people, especially the solid waste and liquid waste from from large populations. So you can see the ammonia here. And finally, the CO2 is directly related to the energy and population. Acid rain in China. You can see here that there are areas which they are affected, and as the winds go like this, I think also there is some India effect here. So whereas these parts are normal, around 5.6, as you remember, we talked about the pristine rain, and then we can have more acids. I'm not going to go through this because I know you get scared by equations, but the whole idea is that sulfur dioxide is emitted from the plants. Hydroxy radical is the most important radical in the atmosphere. There are photochemical reactions, and the SO2 is converted to sulfuric acid.